Alright everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to modify a tube screamer in 4 stages. The first stage would be changing it from a TS9 into an 808. The second stage would be making it a little thicker with a little bit more gain. The third stage would be changing the clipping diodes. And the fourth stage would be making it true bypass. Okay, for stage 1, making the TS9 into an 808, the only difference between a TS9 and an 808 are 2 resistors. We're going to be changing these 2 resistors right here next to that black capacitor there. The one on the left is a 100K resistor. We're going to change that out to a 10K resistor. The one on the right is a 470 ohm resistor, and we're going to change that out to a 100 ohm resistor. The only difference is 2 resistors, so we'll change those out and we'll hear the before and after stock TS9 and a stock 808. All right, it should look something like that. Your new resistors on either side of that capacitor. Again, the one on the left is a 10K and the one on the right is a 100 ohm. Let's hear the difference. Okay, for the second stage, we're going to be changing out these two capacitors and these two resistors, the resistors closest to the capacitors. The capacitor on the right is a 0.02 capacitor. We're going to swap that out for a 0.047. This capacitor is a 0.047, and we're going to swap that out for a 0.22. The resistor here on the left is a 51K resistor, and we're going to replace that with a 39K resistor. The resistor here on the bottom is a 4.7K, and we're going to replace that with a 2.2K resistor. All right, after removing those two capacitors and two resistors, it should look blank like that. All right, yours should look like this. This capacitor here is a 0.047. This capacitor here is a 0.22. The resistor right here is a 39K, and the resistor down here is a 2.2K. Let's hear what those changes did. Okay, for the third stage, we're going to replace these clipping diodes right here in the same area where we replaced our capacitors and resistors. In the middle of that, there's two clipping diodes. We're going to remove those and replace them with either 3 silicon diodes wired asymmetrically. So the black stripe is the negative. This side is the positive. That's soldered onto the negative side of the next diode. So these are now in series. The negative on this side, the positive on this side. And our third diode is the opposite. The positive on this side, the negative on this side. You also have the options of running LED clipping. When it comes to LEDs, when you look at the legs, the tall leg is the positive and the short leg is the negative. Okay, once we remove the diodes, if you see the top right has a plus symbol and the bottom left has a plus symbol. That's where we'll be putting in the negatives and positives of the silicon diodes, or the negative and positive of the LEDs. If you're going to be running asymmetrical silicon diodes, it should look something like that. One side has the diodes in series, the other side has just one. If you're going to be doing the LED clipping, again, the long side is the positive, so we're going to stick that in the positive side and opposite with the other LED. So it should look something like that. A third option is not having any LEDs at all and having it wide open. Let's hear what those three sounds sound like. Alright, this is the true bypass mod. I already drilled a 1/2 inch hole in the middle of the label, offset towards the bottom. You don't want to drill the hole in the dead center because the tips of your plugs will hit the switch when you go to plug it in. So it actually does have to be drilled a little offset towards the bottom. When it comes to wiring up the true bypass switch, we're going to jumper the outer lugs on the bottom. In the center right lug, we're going to put a 3-inch yellow wire. On the center lug on the left side, we're going to put a 3-inch white wire. And your color of choice of wire in that center lug. Okay, for the next part, we're going to remove this resistor right here. The one right in between those two transistors. All right, it should look blank like that. Next, we're going to remove the yellow wire. On that switch, we're going to use this yellow wire and put that back on the jack. We're going to put the yellow wire that we took off across from the center yellow. So the one we took off is now going to be on the top lug right there. Yellow with yellow. All right, now we're going to take off the white wire from the jack. And we're going to do the same thing. The white wire that we had attached to the three-way switch, the true bypass switch, we're going to attach it to the jack where we took the white wire off. And then the white wire that we took off the jack is on our true bypass switch. So yellow with yellow and white with white. Okay, it is now true bypass, but the light needs to turn on and off when the pedal turns on and off. So we're going to have to detach this pink wire. We're going to attach that pink wire to the center lug opposite of that purple wire that we installed in the middle. And now that center wire from the switch is going to go where we took that pink wire out of. Now it is done. We just have to reassemble it and test it. Really snug fit. This is the true bypass test. I'm going to play my clean tone through this true bypass pedal. Then I'm going to plug in the tube screamer and we'll hear what the buffer does to my signal. Okay, this is the same true bypass test, but this time the tube screamer is true bypass. So we shouldn't hear any difference between this pedal and that pedal. Okay, I'm going to show you one more mod. We're going to change the original foot switch into a momentary kill switch. Right here, where your switch is, you'll see a red and white striped wire. And it's actually right here in the board. We're going to remove that wire. We're going to take that red and white striped wire and attach it to the white center lug on the true bypass switch. Now, this is a momentary kill switch. Okay, this is the true bypass on and off switch, and this is the momentary kill switch.